I want to feel more alive in my life, like more passion, more energy, more excitement, more vitality. How can I just feel more alive? Alright, you amazing human. My name is Ben Hart, and in this video I'm going to be sharing a simple way to feel more alive instantly. If you dig the content I'm about to share, go ahead and hit the subscribe button below. And if there's anybody out there in the world that you think would benefit from this video, please hit the like button or leave a comment because it'll help them find it. Alright, how to feel more alive instantly. So many of us, myself for sure, go through life at times kind of having an up and down relationship with aliveness. Or maybe even for some of us, it's not much aliveness at all. And there's a feeling of, wanting more sustained passion, wanting more sustained joy, excitement, vitality. And, we hear these things around like, sucking the marrow out of life, or like carpe diem, seize the day. And there's this feeling of there's more aliveness available, which seems to be the case. Certainly in my experience, there is more aliveness available. But how do we go about getting that? What can we do? Well, this teaching comes to me from a German mystic named Thomas Hübl, someone I worked with when I was at the Shift Network, working with lots of different transformational teachers from around the world. And he said, and I'm going to paraphrase this, but this is how it landed in my being, in my system, and really made an impact on me, has really changed the way that I operate. So I want to share it with you. And this was the idea that in any moment that you're not being nourished by life, you're not being present. And yeah, sure, I know we can often hear like, okay, be more present and kind of write it off and click away or whatever the case may be, but there's deep implications to this. So just hear it again. Anytime you're not being nourished by life, you're not being present. What this is speaking to is that in fully bringing yourself to any moment and fully meeting the moment, there is an aliveness available. There is an effervescence. There is a, life is happening in the now. Right now, life is happening through you, as you, all around you. And when you fully come into intimacy with it, when you fully meet it with your awareness, it can move, it can change, the emergence that is life animates you, brings aliveness, and a whole thing happens. And so let's get specific around this. Take, for example, being in a conversation with someone. I certainly have had this experience, and I imagine you have as well, being in a conversation with someone where you just start to get drained. You're talking with them and you're not enjoying the direction it's going or the energy they're bringing, but maybe you're wanting to be polite, and so you stick around, and you end up walking away 15 minutes later just feeling like blah. Well, an alternate opportunity is to notice as soon as you're not becoming nourished by that interaction and become more present and feel into what actually wants to happen here. So maybe it is, I no longer want to be in this encounter. And so you get more present, own that in yourself, and find a skillful way to walk away. Or maybe it's that you're not fully in touch with actually where you want the conversation to go. Maybe in becoming more present, you recognize that actually there's a question you want to ask that changes things into a new course, or maybe there's some way you're not being authentic, and if you spoke it, it might be a little uncomfortable for a moment, but it would actually bring more aliveness. It would completely change that conversation. And I've certainly had many conversations that in the past I would have just sat through, and with this teaching leaned into, became more present, and was able to help co-create them going in a whole new direction that felt really magical. So, that's an example of being with somebody, but, certainly this relates to even not being with another person. Imagine being with your work, and there's so many times I've certainly experienced where it's like my energy starts to dip and I go down, but I just push on through, and there's a feeling of, well, I need to do this, I need to push, I need to struggle, it needs to just make it happen. Well, what if you just got more present? What if the moment you stop feeling nourished, got more present, and realized, actually, I need a break right now. And in coming back from the break, it's a whole new flow of energy that's there. Or, actually, this isn't feeling alive for me. I want to put my attention on this other project. Or, actually, this isn't feeling alive for me, and if I really get present with it, I don't want to be doing this damn job. And that's the place, actually, I want to speak to a little bit is, sometimes it's easy, like in a conversation, just get present with somebody and feel into what wants to happen. But there's so many places where it's actually hard to get present, where life isn't nourishing us, and us bringing our presence to that lack of nourishment is really painful. Like we're wanting to avoid that. Whether it's in a relationship or whether it's with our health or whether it's with our job, wherever the case may be. And I just want to name that, implicit in what I'm speaking to here, this idea of if life isn't nourishing you, you're not being present, is that actually in bringing your presence, in your presence meeting life, healing happens. Beautiful things happen. And they may be painful, they may be hard, they may be challenging, there may be struggle involved, but when you fully meet what is happening, when this whole notion of like what we resist persists, like if you're not enjoying your work, but you just kind of numb out to that, distract yourself from that, keep on going, you can go on for years like that. It'll just persist. You'll just continue to have a job that you're totally hating, whatever the case may be. When you bring your awareness to it and you let yourself feel the implications of whatever's actually going on, let yourself feel what is true, things move, things heal. Aliveness actually is generated. So, for me, for example, there's certainly been times in my life, and continues to be in moments, when I'm not wanting to be with something that's uncomfortable, I'm not being present to it, and I'm doing anything I can to distract myself from it. So whether it's, social media or videos or TV or reading books or yada, 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 so many opportunities for distraction. And I know we live in a world that is certainly distraction is a conversation. But what I'm offering here is just notice where distraction is a distraction from being present. And the feeling often, most of us, I certainly have this, is like, oh, I feel anxious or I feel scared. Like if I look at that place where I don't want this job anymore, what's going to happen to my life? Or if I look at this place where I don't want to be in this relationship anymore, what am I going to do next? Or what's true? Or I don't want to lose this person, I love this person, whatever the case may be. We don't trust actually what presence brings. When you bring your presence to it and sustain it and be in the gunk, be in the muck, be in, the anxiety, the fear, the crap that feels like it's there on the surface, things start to change, things start to emerge that brings insight, that brings healing, that brings clarity, that actually allows you to be nourished by that presence and feel more aliveness as the energy moves and all of a sudden you're into your next flow of what's true and what do I want and what feels good. So that's kind of like the deeper level of where it can be harder, where it can feel like more of a challenge. But the overarching invitation here is to really step into the fact that every moment of your life can feel nourishing. And in some of these past examples, like nourishing doesn't always look like, oh, I'm eating this amazing meal and I feel so much energy and just like life is popping out of my eyes, though it can. It may be, I feel so alive because I am sitting in the depths of my fear about where my money will come from, or where love will be, or how my health is, or yada, yada, yada. Any place that might be hard, if you're really in it, you're so damn alive. And I invite you to recognize that, and I invite you to begin to lean in and dance in that, because as you do, things change, things emerge, and more aliveness is available. So, I hope you can be nourished by life more and more through your presence. As I first heard this, I started to walk around and I began to almost have like a red light beeping in my awareness whenever I wasn't feeling nourished. It was like a new baseline was set for this is what life can feel like. And if it dipped below that, it was like, you're not being nourished, you're not being nourished. And I would come into more presence and I would feel into it. And certainly it was, messy at times, or I didn't know what to do with being more present. I didn't know how to work with it. But just having that distinction of, oh, wow, I'm actually not leaning into life right now. I'm actually not being present, and I'm not letting what wants to happen. As soon as I began to see that, things began to shift and change in amazing ways where I feel so much more alive, so much more passion, so much more joy and vitality every single day. So, if you're not being nourished by life, you're not being present. May you be nourished by life with through how present you are every day. Alright, if you like this video, please hit the subscribe button below. And if there's anybody out there in the world that you think would benefit from being more present and more nourished by life, please hit the like button. Please leave a comment to help them find it. And if there's one thing you take away from this video, please let it be, you're amazing. My name is Ben Hart. Bye for now.